Nevertheless, their agenda is control. They are rather bored of creation, and in their boredom they have decided to own and have everything. Generally, boredom of something can only be so if one has exhausted whatever novelty and thrill that something had up until now afforded, as it is in creation. When individuals have had their millions of lifetimes, when they have experienced much, if not most, of the options, boredom does set in, and they will do funny things. This can go two ways. At this point, an individual, having reached experiential capacity, may start doing things never before personally done. They are exemplifying risk-taking traits, maybe a little black magic dabbling, some astral projection. They will be those trying the things that most will not. Most are content to do what they always have, living their mundane lives. These are the risk-taking qualities the guides look for in peoples too. Having reached experience capacity, and now seeking more, this is often the green light for the guides, to present them with the opportunity to become more aware, and begin a process and journey for is recognition. Or the second option, an individual having had enough experience, out of boredom, will seek to claim everything, to rule, to conquer, to become a world controller. In both circumstances, if we look at the experiences they choose to create for themselves with objectivity, all they are simply more experiences, and the ears looks indifferently on. It cares not what we choose to create. We have the free will to create what we will, and the cause and effect experience takes care of the rest. If you want to live an abusive life, then that's fine. You'll just have abrasive cause and effect, karmic, dire circumstances that must be experienced in this lifetime or the next. In a way, we can see that either choice made to start controlling or simply exploring beyond the realms of what one has come to know are both based on thrill seeking for a start. As everything in creation, all we decide and choose and agree with consciously, without the connection to the real self and the is, must cater for the personal self only, and the personal self chases endlessly its thrills and spills, in whatever form it may wish them to be. But the two options stem from a completion, perhaps, of experience, and we could say then the consciousness of the controller to be, or the explorer of places unknown, are very similar in their development. And as the controller seeks and wants to control and manipulate, naturally then the experience provided is in keeping with this want. All the experience required to attain the ability, information, and circumstances to be in a position of power will be acquired by those that seek and focus on this desire. For yes, creation is a reflective bubble, and indifferent to the nature of the want. It is simply designed in this way, unjudgmental to whatever is sought and strived for. It's just a generator of experience, and we can use it any way we want, create any experience we choose. So in come the filters that block the parts of the information, that what is left is in keeping with the information, that if decoded will create the reality, the computer game that the controller wants. But of course, to be a controller, one must have people to control, and unfortunately for the controller to be, nothing can be so. No one can be controlled unless they decide, agree to, or choose to create the idea, thought, or notion that they are controlled. In comes the programming. We can see that this word is very apt with our computer simulation model analogy. If people are to be controlled, if they are to be slaves, they must agree with this position, and thus the only information they decode after blocking the rest is the information into their reality which mirrors the agreement to this idea. And if the vast majority, if not everyone, can be made to agree with the idea of control, then they will share the same reality, or the foundation of it, which is that of control, with a little leeway, a little breathing space, for personal unique creations within the prison yard. And so everybody has effectively agreed to a foundation computer game. They have filtered out everything that is not in keeping with the controlled matrix, and the collective experience decoded into everyone's reality must be the same, as it stems from the agreement to the notion of the created idea of control. Religions were very instrumental in acquiring agreement to the decided collective experience of control, and today everything in creation stems from the controllers, and stems from the ideas that the controllers choose to decide and create. Throughout human history, this has been along the lines of control, but as we move into the present, the collective experience has changed, and is constantly doing so, in accordance with the collective agreement to ideas that must be changing in their nature to exact this altering in cause and effect experience, and the time phases move on. This now moves to an idea of destruction, The controllers seek to destroy the planet and kill everyone, and perhaps robotize the rest. And then, of course, we are moving ever forward into this being a reality, and we only can do so if the majority agree with it and decode this into their experience. So, as much as we program our own body vehicles, our own computers, to filter out anything not aligned with the experience that best reflects the ideas we agree with and create, we can have them programmed also in the same fashion. Again, this must be agreed to, or they can exact any idea they want, and it simply will not feature in the individual or collective experience. Agreement to ideas that stem from ideas that we don't see seems to work. What seems beneficial is in fact garnering agreement to something and thus affecting experience that is anything but. This is how the subliminals work. We are confronted with an experience, and if we are not connected to our real selves, we will not simply be the experiencer. We will not regard the experience with objectivity. We will add things on top. With the unaware, they will make mental considerations on all they experience and label it accordingly. Dualistic consideration generally. They will deem something to be good or bad, something they like and would want, or the opposite. Because of the dualistic nature of the personal self, it will decide something. It cannot simply regard an experience with detached indifference. And of course, if conscious of the experience, an unaware person will either like it and agree with it effectively, or disregard it and not wish it in their lives. And of course, with something we like, something we want, something we agree with, it becomes part of our experience through the cause and effect mechanics of creation. So, in order to have us agree with something, to have us give something the thumbs up, to then have the masses collectively bringing forth the ideas the controllers wish to manifest, they must present something to be desirable, a marketing front, and not let the masses know the real intent and idea behind what looks so good on the surface. The movies are nets of subliminals in this way. Watching movies is exactly the same as having experiences. The unconscious unaware will deem the movie good or bad. They will not regard them with detached objectivity. And so anything the controllers wish to implement, any idea they wish to have agreement for en masse, they will hammer consistently in the themes and movies that we watch. They produce delightful blockbusting movies, and within the movies will be themes, ideas, And as the multitudes watch these movies, and the movies are of their liking, they will not consciously identify individual themes that they decide are bad. They will deem the movie good or bad based on the entirety of it, and the little aspects of it are disregarded amidst the huge budget and special effect spectacular. In this way, the controllers will place all the aspects of control, or whatever the idea they want to exact in creation, in all the movies, and the wide-eyed, blown-away audiences will accept what they see, consider the movie marvellous, and in doing so they have in essence agreed with it, and all the sneaky aspects and elements of control the controllers have placed within it. If we scroll back through the years, we will see certain themes in the movies, and how in later years these became the experience collectively shared by humanity, and this entire process they call predictive programming. So every time you watch a movie or anything on any source of technology, you can be sure it is full of imagery, themes and elements that, if not consciously addressed and disregarded, are agreed to, particularly if lost in the overwhelming magic of the movie screens, and if subliminal informations are under the threshold of our conscious vetting of them, then this is tantamount again to agreement. Anything beneath the conscious level goes into the subconscious then, the ethereal life level vehicle, the place where our subconscious programming occurs. Anything else we are conscious of, we agree to, if we decide it is a good thing. And so both of these means of getting people to agree with ideas will culminate in the collective experience that is based on whatever is the nature of the idea. A mass filtering out of anything in the information our body vehicles receive that is not in alignment with the ideas of the programming and indoctrinating controllers. And then we decode this information into our collective reality, and we have the world we experience today. A world in a gradual and accelerating demise, because the controllers wish to have it so, and the masses are agreeing with the ideas that flow from this idea of demise, and therefore the experience shared by all those agreeing with it will be so. And many may think they are not agreeing with such an idea, but alas, the mechanics of creation and the subconscious programming of agreement, and all the agreement to ideas which seem good but are in fact stemming from the same idea of devastation, would prove the opposite. The only way to supersede the agreement to the ideas of restriction, control, demise, and future unconscious lifetimes of even worse conditions through the cause and effect principle is to become more aware, to connect with the ears through the new you song, and stand real with the guides and this true reality, in a gradual becoming and recognition of the real self.